welcome to this yoga for lower back pain. So before we begin, I just wanted to make you aware that this class doesn't replace seeking medical advice. So if you are experiencing any chronic lower back pain, I definitely suggest getting it looked at by a specialist. And also throughout this class, if you do feel any pain at all, if you feel any sharp pain, any tingling or anything like that, please just come out of the pose, listen to your body. We're all completely different and we will all experience things in completely different ways. That said, we will go through the 6 degrees of the spine today. So the lower back is part of the lumbar spine, which is the bit where you have usually a slight curve in the spine. So we'll be working on that area, moving through the 6 degrees of the spine. So that will be the bending back and forth, twisting from the core, from the lower belly, and also a bit of side bends. We'll also do a little bit for the hamstrings. So a lot of the time we experience lower back pain because there's a shortening in our hamstrings, or the muscles that run down the back of our legs, and that's from tightness, we're not stretching them properly and things like that. And when these muscles start to shrink, it can pull on the muscles in the lower back and in the pelvis, and that can end up creating lower back pain. So for a lot of people, and not everyone, but for a lot of people, lower back pain can be caused by that. So we'll do a little bit to stretch out the hamstrings as well. So you will need a couple of props for this class. So you might like to have either a yoga block if you've got one, or a couple of books, or you can use a few towels or blankets as well. And you might also like to have a towel, just extra padding for the knees, and you can also use it to sit on and stuff like that as well. If you just want to grab those, put them to one side for now. And we'll start in a child's pose. So just making your way onto the mat, bring the big toes to touch, knees out about mat distance apart, dropping the hips down towards the heels, and then just bringing the arms out in front and the forehead down to the mat. And if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, you've got a couple of options. If you've got pain in the knees, you can use a towel or blanket just behind the calves just to lift yourself up slightly, or you can use a block. If your head doesn't quite reach the floor, then you can use a block to support the head as well. So just whatever feels good for you, modifying as much as you need to. And while you're here, we'll just start to take some deep breaths into the belly. And as we do this, you might notice a slight release of tension in the lower back. So just breathing in through the nose, into the belly, and then breathing out of the nose. And we'll just do that a few times in your own time. Noticing whether you can feel any release of tension in the lower back. Then after the next exhale, just slowly make your way up into an all-fours position. You might like to use your towel for extra padding for the knee if you like. And then checking your shoulders stacked over your wrists, your hips are over the knees. We'll start with a couple of cat-cows. So dropping the belly down on the inhale, lifting the gaze up. Make sure the shoulders are coming up towards the ears. If you can create length in the neck, pull the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, navel towards the spine as you round down, chin to chest. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, round through the spine, and pull the navel in that, come back up. We'll do one more round of those. So on the exhale, chin to chest, navel towards the spine. And then inhale, just to make your way to a neutral spine. Great. So from here, we'll take a little bit of a twist. So bring in your left hand, so it's just in front of your face. And on the inhale, reaching the right arm up. And then exhale, placing the back of that hand on the floor and just start to thread that under the left arm, coming down onto the shoulder, bringing the side of the face to the floor. So you can stay here if you like. You might want to send the left arm out long in front, palm facing down. Or you might want to rotate the palms that's facing the left side, bringing the arm up. And then maybe bending at the elbow, rotating the palms that's facing the right. And then just placing the arm down the side of the back, maybe hooking onto the hip, maybe holding onto your t-shirt or your top, or just trying to wedge the fingers in between the thigh and the hips, the hip crease there. Just get a bit of a twist in the spine. And then we'll slowly unwind whichever way whichever option you've taken, coming out of it the same way you went in, and inhale to reach the arm back up. And then exhale, place it on the floor. So this time placing the right hand where the left hand was. On the next inhale, reaching the left arm up. And then exhale, placing the back of the hand on the floor. Start to just thread that arm under the left arm, coming down onto the side of the left face. Maybe sending the right arm out in front. Maybe reaching that arm up, ending at the elbow, and seeing if you can place the hand across the back, maybe just holding the t-shirt, or just wedging the fingers in where the hip crease is. Taking some deep breaths here. And then slowly unwind, coming out the same way you came in. Reaching that left arm up, fingers up, and exhale, placing that left hand back on the floor. From here, we'll take a bit of a side stretch this time. So send the left foot out behind you, come onto the ball of the left foot, and then pull the navel in and send that left foot over to the right. And then send the gaze out towards the toes. So you might start to feel a stretch down the side of the left body. Just pushing into the heel of the right foot. Then inhale, reach that foot back up, placing it back into our neutral falls position. And I'll take it on the opposite side, so right foot out behind on the ball of the foot, engage the belly, lift the leg, and then just send that over to the opposite side, gazing out at the toes, pushing through the heels. If you notice a stretch through the side of the body. And then inhale, bring that foot back in, make your way back into that all fours position. And then from here, we'll tuck the back toes, start to really push into the whole hand. So spread the hands, the fingers nice and wide. Start to grip into the floor, and then just lift the knees off the mat to hover. And then continue to lift the hips up and back, making your way into downwards dog. You might want to step the feet back a little bit here, just see what feels good for you. And then just start to pedal the feet out, bend in the knee. So this downwards dog is a really great stretch for the hamstrings and the back body. So just taking any movements that feel nice for you. Make sure you're pushing into the hands, maybe releasing the head and the neck out, and just lifting the hips up and back. And then from here, come to a static downwards dog, bending the knees as as much as you like to keep the back nice and straight. And then start to walk the hands back towards the feet. And into a ragdoll pose. You might like to take opposite hands to opposite elbows and just dangle here, maybe straightening and bending one leg at a time. Releasing the head and neck out. Then releasing the hands, placing the hands on the shins. Inhale for a flat back position. Then exhale, come back down, releasing the hands. And we'll start to walk our hands back out, coming back into our downwards dog. Pushing through or up through the hips, the tailbone, creating lots of length in the spine. You can just walk the feet out again if that feels good, or just keeping a bend in the knees. And then placing the knees back down, arriving back into our all fours position. So from here we'll take a lunge. So just inhale, lifting the left leg up, and then round through the spine, bring the knee in towards the nose, hold it there, and then see if you can place that foot down in front of the hands at the front of the mat. You might need to use your left hand just to guide the foot there. Start to really pull the inner thighs in together so you can feel the muscles in the leg contract. And then inhale to reach the arms up. And then exhale, place them back down. You can, if you like, readjust the towel so your knees under the towel. And then start to walk the hands back, straightening the front leg, pulling the toes in towards the leg. So stretching through the back of the leg again, so the calf and also the hamstring. And walk the hands back for a low lunge. We'll just do that 2 more times. So walking the hands back, straightening that front leg, bring the toes in towards the leg. And walking the hands forward for a low lunge. Checking the knees stacked over the ankles, so maybe readjusting your feet slightly if you need to. And then last time, walking the hands back, toes in towards the knee, stretching through the back of the leg. And then inhale to walk back to a low lunge position. Planting the hands, see if you can lift that knee back and arriving back into our all fours position. We'll take that little sequence on the opposite side, so pull the navel in, lifting the right leg, a little bit of a back bend. And then inhale, round through the spine, bring that knee in towards the nose. Hold it there. And then see if you can plant that foot at the front of the mat in between the hands again. You might need to use your hand to just help you get there. So again, you want to check that the knees stacked over the ankle, maybe repositioning the back knee with the towel if you need to. And then start to pull those inner thighs in together, feel the leg muscles contract. And on the inhale, we'll reach the arms up. And then exhale to place the hands on the floor. And we'll take that leg stretch again, so half splits. Starting to walk the hands back, straightening that front leg, pulling the toes in towards the body. And then walking the hands back for a low lunge. And again, walk the hands back, straightening that leg, pull the toes in. And then walking the hands back again. Last time, walking the hands back, straighten that leg, pull the toes in. And walk the hands back, low lunge, planting the hands, you can lift that knee, arrive back into our all fours position. And then from here we'll make our way onto our belly, so we'll just do a little exercise to strengthen the muscles in the lower back. So from here, just bring the weight so it's just over the hands. And then start to bend at the elbows, keeping the elbows in towards the body, and make your way down onto the floor. And then straighten the legs out so nice and flat on the floor, and tucking the toes. Bring your hands so they're next to the shoulders. And we'll take 3 baby cobra lifts. And to do this, we just want to make sure we push the tops of the feet into the floor so you can feel the leg muscles engage. And then we'll inhale to rise up, keeping the hands on the floor if you like, or you can see if you can just lift the hands and feel the back muscles engage. If this is too much for the lower back, then feel free to just come down to the floor. And then when we're ready, we'll roll back down. We'll do that 2 more times. So inhale to roll up. Maybe seeing if you can lift the hands off the floor, pulling the shoulder blades together, keeping those feet pushing down. And then exhale to roll back down. And one more time. Inhale to roll up. Seeing if you can lift the hands. And then exhale to roll back down. So just bring the hands out in front of you, make a little pillow for the hands. Start to breathe into the belly, maybe even just roll the hips back side to side. Just trying to release any tension in the lower back. And from here we'll roll onto our backs. And we'll take reverse pigeon. So I mentioned earlier that the lower back pain can be caused by tightness in the hamstrings. It can also be caused by tightness in the hip flexors as well. So we'll just do a pose to help release or stretch the hip flexors a little bit. So we'll start with the soles of the feet on the floor, knees pointing up, arms can be just down by the side to begin with. And just lift the left foot up, cross the left ankle over the right leg and start to open out with that left knee. So this is your first option that you can stay here if you like. Or you can lift the right leg off the floor, maybe take the hands, interlace them around the thigh or maybe around the shin. Keeping the toes of the right leg pointing in towards the knee to protect the knee, and continue to just push out with that left thigh. We'll hold it here for 3 rounds of breath. Keeping the head relaxing down on the mat. And releasing the feet down and crossing the legs, taking it onto the opposite side. So right leg crosses over the left. Start to push out with that right foot. Keep the toes pointing in towards the knees. To stay here if you like, or lift that left leg off the floor. Maybe thread the hands around the thigh, maybe around the shin. Maybe noticing here if this side feels slightly different to the other side. And then after the next exhale, releasing the feet back down, soles of the feet to the floor. And we'll just take a final twist, so just releasing the tension in the lower back, so you can bring the arms out to the side, any way that you like. And then just drop the legs over to the right, gaze can be out over the left. And inhale back to centre, drop them over to the opposite side, gaze can be out over the right if it feels okay for the neck. And then inhale back to centre. We'll take that again each side, so dropping the knees over. Inhale to centre. And then just drop them over to the opposite side. And inhale back to centre. So we'll end in our final resting pose. You can either bring the soles of the feet so they're mat distance apart, just let the knees fall in together. So the lower back is slightly supported on the floor, arms down by the side, palms facing up. Or if it does feel okay for the lower back, you can have the legs out long, just notice what feels better for you. we'll just start to bring our attention back to our breath. Be taking those deep belly breaths, so breathing in through the nose, feel the belly expand. And exhale out the nose, feel the belly soften. And slowly you can start to make small movements. So you can stay in that final resting pose for as long as you like. So if you did want to stay there, you can. Otherwise, rolling over to one side and slowly supporting yourself to come back up to a seated position. And that brings us to the end of this class. I hope that your lower back feels the benefits of this practice. We did quite a bit to strengthen the back, to stretch out the muscles that can influence the lower back, and we also did the 6 degrees of the spine movements to help relieve some tension there as well. So I hope to see you in next week's class where we'll be working on strengthening the back. And have a lovely day. Thank you for practicing. Bye.